What's up, guys? Welcome to the LA AV Club podcast. My name is Jared.
I'm Aaron.
And we're filmmakers living and working here in Hollywood. We work on everything from big productions down to small run and gun productions.
Yeah, we also do some live stuff. Normally it's a lot bigger sets, but now we wanted to create a system to do it small. Something we could live cut, live stream, but without the need of a huge crew or a studio or a stage.
Things like that. Yeah, we also wanted to kind of have a community for our filmmaker friends where we could kind of bring them together, other content creators, and talk about the way they do stuff, get some tips and tricks. And so today on the show, we have our good friend, Jason Milligan.
Yeah, I've known him for so long, but he's one of the founders of Butcherbird Studios, which we work with a lot. He does VFX. He's a director. And
yeah, well, we worked with Butcherbird and Jason on all kinds of projects for National Geographic, Airbnb, Boeing, Amazon,
Twitch.
We did Twitch.
Yeah.
Also, he's a crazy outdoorsman and has his own outdoors podcast as well.
Yeah. He's dresses like he's going camping every day,
every single day,
or hiking or climbing or something in studio.
Yeah,
but it's awesome because that's him.
Yeah. But yeah, so recently we both worked on a project with him where he went on the road and self-filmed, self-produced, self-created an entire series on his own.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, or you could say he took half the budget to go on vacation.
He did do that, yeah.
Which I was pretty jealous of, to be honest. I was like, I like it.
But he does know a thing or two about content creation with only himself as the camera guy.
Smallest crew possible.
Exactly, yeah. So we're going to check in with him and
find some stuff out about filming yourself. Your best self? Filming my best life? Oh, that's Instagram.
So yeah, I'm sure your introduction is highly inaccurate, but
yeah.
But it's probably better you didn't let me hear it, so my first comment isn't, wow, that doesn't sound anything like me.
Well, that's not true.
On that note, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the show, Jason.
Are we doing this now?
Yeah, we're just going into it.
Live. Recently, all three of us, but mostly you and Aaron, and worked on Tilt. And that was a pretty cool project. And you actually won an award for that, I believe, correct?
Technically, Aaron also won the award.
Oh, Aaron won.
Oh, my name's not on the.
Yeah, I don't see his name.
His name's not on it.
Yeah, his name ain't on the trophy. Don't give him credit where he doesn't deserve it.
Dude, I will have you know, when that thing came in the mail, and my first thought was, oh, fuck, they didn't put Aaron's name on this.
What was the award and what was the project?
Who cares about the award?
I mean, the award was like some Telly award thing, which
Best
I
digital
guess is cool.
Branded content or something.
But Tilt was basically two different things, one of which Aaron... So it was two separate shows. It was Untethered on the road and Untethered My Passion. And Aaron did half of the My Passion episodes and I did the other half. And then on the road was Erica, my fiance, and I, who then was not my fiance, traveling across the U.S. for 55 days out of a Chevy coupe.
Yeah,
so we went to 42 states.
Jason basically figured out how to take the budget for everything, take about half of it, and just go on vacation.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm not a good producer. I'm not a good producer at all.
As much as the on-the-road road trip part is a vacation,
yeah,
it did mean Eric and I every single day got up and shot videos. Then we went and shot photographs. Then I calculated by the end I had driven 13,510 miles in that Chevy coupe. So we also had like everything packed in the back, and then we had a roof box with stuff packed in it, because we also were going to stop and like do canyons and climb and all this other stuff along the way, and camped most of the time.
What was it like self-filming on the road in that capacity? Because you're actually out there doing things. It's probably almost a little easier in one sense, but also ruins your activity, I would imagine.
So we had to take into consideration for sure, right? And we wanted to do stuff where we still enjoy doing it. So before I went, I tried to whittle it down to like a base kit. So I had a GH4 with me with a few select lenses. And then we got Erica, I forget, it's like a GX8 or something. It's like a lower end Panasonic.
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, instead of costing, like what did a GH4 go for at the time? Like 1,500?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right, 1,500, yeah.
Yeah, this was more like a $700-800 body.
Yeah.
So she would carry that one. I'd carry the GH4. I had a few like little portable lights that were cheap Chinese knockoffs I could bring when I needed them, because there were some interviews we did.
We'll link those in the bio.
That's right. We'll definitely link them. One of them's lighting my face right now. But and it's not flickering for a change.
For a change.
Yeah. But basically what we would do is I had a fisheye, like a 7.5 millimeter fisheye. I'd stick that on there. I had the Panasonic shotgun mic that attaches to it. And I'd hold it out like this and keep it pretty steady. And then we'd talk to the camera.
Yeah.
And then I'd switch over to a different, more useful lens for shooting everything else.
Yeah.
We also carried an Osmo at the time. We carried GoPros. Like,
Remember
there was
how
a
cool the
Canyoneering.
Osmo was when you first got it, and then after a couple weeks, you're like, oh no.
I don't even think I liked it when I first.
I first got it, I was like, oh, it's so cool because it does. And then once you see the quality, you were like, ew.
Yeah.
For that project, though, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's a GoPro-ish, you know.
But if you're doing outdoor stuff and like on the road
it
stuff,
helps,
I think that's like those kind of cameras are like, useful.
What kind of stuff were you guys doing that you were filming?
So it varied from place to place. So sometimes it was just us driving around in the car. Sometimes it was us going to a national park. Sometimes it was climbing. We did a canyoneering day, so that was mostly GoPro stuff. So that, for people who don't know what canyoneering is, that's going into canyons and rappelling the drops and the waterfalls. And that one included a pack raft out. So we had to carry rafts in, blow them up at the Colorado River, and then raft out to get out of the canyon. So there would be a mix of things like that.
Or something one day?
No, there was a day where I met up with some base jumpers that I knew in Utah, and then I followed them out to some BLM land, and they did some jumps.
Yeah, that's stuff
we
awesome.
shot that.
Yeah,
it would ended up being 7 episodes, and there's enough footage in there to be easily a dozen, because tons of it didn't get cut in at all.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily a pioneer of self-filming because people were doing it then, right? But it wasn't.
I'm not a pioneer of anything.
But it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, per se, right? So what did you learn? Because you did it in a lot of different environments. So what did you learn from that?
A number of the things we did right, which is make sure to carry like a Yeti charger so we could charge up batteries and various other things daily.
Do you have a
even
Yeti
if we were
cooler?
camping. No, it's the Goal Zero Yeti. Like
Yeti cooler might be stimulus check.
I don't think your stimulus check will cover a Yeti cooler, dude.
Probably not.
A stimulus check plus unemployment.
Yeah.
Then you can get that Yeti cooler.
But, go on.
So definitely bringing small cameras with long battery life that you can easily recharge in the field. That stuff is a no-brainer. Selecting particular lenses that you only use. A lot of things have gotten better now. Like the new stabilization on the latest GoPros is good that I wouldn't need an Osmo or anything like that. Now I'd have a drone with me.
Yeah.
Whereas then, access
they
to a
existed,
drone.
but it was a lot. It was the bigger ones. They were the smallest. Was the Phantoms? Yeah, those are the smallest.
The Mavic 2, the Mavic Pro 2s now are like the smallest, or smallest with the best quality now that you can.
Yeah, and I also didn't have a lot of experience flying them. We had some at the office, but I was worried I'd just destroy them.
Which I did. I would borrow cow coats and be like, "Hey, it smashed into a wall."
That's what trees and bridges, man. That's what they always would run into.
Power lines are the most dangerous because you can't see them.
What would you do different now? Whether it's new cameras or different tools, or maybe a different way of approaching how you did it.
Definitely the improved tools. I'd make sure to have some improved tools. What would I do differently? I do less.
Yeah.
Like I try to fit in less, which even then I kind of thought like, oh, we're doing a lot. But part of me was also being selfish and thinking like, well, if we're going to be out doing this, I want to go to as many U.S. states as I can. I try to do less, and I don't know that I would shoot as much.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it would turn into like, oh, let's go to this cave. All right, we shot the cave. Okay, let's go do this. We shot that. Oh, we need somewhere to sleep tonight. And then it's 2 a.m. before we can get to a campground.
What you realize is the less you can shoot, but still tell the story.
Yeah.
So you basically, I need to establish, like you kind of map it out.
So that was gonna be my question. Is like how much like story was already in your mind when you're going around, and like have you already kind of put together what each of these episodes is gonna look like, or you're just kind of like we're gonna figure it out as we go, or what was the story process like for you?
So this is how we pitched the project and sold it. Tilt at that time was doing this Extend Your Life campaign, right? So their whole their whole goal was to say like, oh, because you can bring portable power with you, you don't have to be tethered to your house. That's why it's called Untethered. And you can go experience life however you want, which is why they thought the road trip thing made sense, because we could say tilt's helping power us doing all these things on the road. And then Erica was going to be working, because she works in comics still. She was going to do that from the road, and I do that Outdoors podcast.
Yeah.
So I was going to be doing that simultaneously. So that was part of how we sold it.
Yeah.
And the way I planned it is I contacted different people throughout the U.S. and said, can we do an interview this day? I planned that out, and then say those were a week apart. We'd look at the distance between them, and then we'd calculate we can probably go to these places. And then we'd leave ourselves free also to decide that day, like, oh, well, let's go into Nebraska for 2 hours and check something out there.
Did you find yourself, because when I've done like road trip stuff, it's like you're on a train in Japan. Actually, on the tilt thing, I did some of that with my buddy. But we're on a train in Japan, and you're like, shoot out the window, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you stop, and you're like, oh, well, this looks pretty cool too, and I could probably do it better. And you end up doing what you don't want to do and shooting more just because you're like, oh, and another cool thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how much did that happen with you outside? Like in rad
Constantly, dude, especially with the photographs, because you're like, oh, that place looks awesome. Let's stop and take a picture. Or, oh, this curve in the road looked really awesome. Yeah. Maybe there's going to be another curve in the road in like 10 minutes. Oh, there's not going to be. Oh, I better stop because this lake's super cool.
Yeah.
Let's get pictures of this. Yeah, we were doing that constantly. And then sometimes we would just be like, look, we can't do this anymore. We need to go somewhere.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. More or less, yeah.
I didn't place that back, Mike. That's why it's not actually hitting us. Here, you want me to see how it's supposed to look, Jared? There we go. Now we actually have a little bit on us.
You just ruined all the continuity.
You know? So that's when you leave lighting up to Jared, as you know.
I mean, the way I'm lit right now is with the cheap Chinese knockoff light and a couple of little Lumecubes. So
there you go.
Self-filming 101. What's a good like lighting tip for like if you're trying to self-film and have a mobile lighting rig? Would you use?
So I mean, small LEDs. I have one somewhere in the house, but like those small little rectangular LEDs are great. Also, these little Lumecubes are pretty helpful now. This is the older one.
Oh, yeah.
This is the newer one, and it has a magnet built in.
Oh, nice.
Let me get it to where you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can attach it to things. Now, you're not going to fight sunlight with these, obviously, but if you need to illuminate like a small area, they're really useful for that. They're a lot brighter than you expect them to be. They also have a little lighting kit that I got recently. We used it a lot to light miniatures for something we shot recently.
Oh, that thing
but
it's got like too.
It's got like little mini snoots.
Yeah. Oh.
It's got the world's most adorable tiny barn doors.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then there are like globes and gels of every color and warmth and
those have the battery built in, right?
Yeah, batteries built in, so that's one of the positive negatives because then you've got to keep charging it. But no, you've like this one right here, I've got the globe on it, and then I've got this red gel on it.
And the diffuser,
Yeah, and then I also, if I want to, you can attach to them through Bluetooth with an app, and I can manipulate, I can turn them on and off.
Oh, cool.
Like I can turn them all off at once or all on at once. I can go in individually and change the brightness on them.
Those are handy.
I've got like 6 of them, and I could be manipulating all of them. I'm just using 2 right now.
That's super cool, actually.
So they're pretty useful for particular uses. Again, you're not gonna, if you need to shoot outside, these are not your solution.
Yeah.
Bring a reflector or something to help you with that.
It's giving me anxiety. Little lights. I like small lights.
Oh, they're waterproof too, dude.
I like small lights less than I like small cameras.
It's the right tool for the right job.
Because you can use a small camera to get a good image, but a small light never provides a big source.
Here's another quick pro tip for people who use GoPros. Like, this is the thing I think people haven't realized. There is the 4x3 mode that you can use in anything, right?
Yeah.
And I think people think, well, that mode's stupid because I want a 16:9 image. The trick is you put it in 4:3 mode, you get it out of that over wide fisheye, because you can now move it to tighter, less extreme fisheye modes. You shoot what you need to shoot, you drop it into a 16:9, and then you reposition and reframe your image, or you add fake tilts to your footage, which I do all the time.
Yeah.
That's a pro tip for people who think that mode is a waste on your GoPro.
Oversample the sensor. We do that with the Geminis, and people get annoyed. And I'm like, you just have more room.
Yeah.
Just, it's one thing in post. It's like, there you go. Now it's not. Or now I have 10, 20% more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I can move this around because I'm using the whole sensor.
No, let's just shoot in 4K and just drop the bit rate.
Oh God, that's even worse.
But if you watch any
started.
GoPro footage I've shot in the last few years, I'm constantly adding fake camera movement on just slight pushes and pulls, slight tilts, slight pans that aren't in the footage. But the other thing I'd recommend anybody that needs to shoot themselves is figure out how they can fit their entire kit in one backpack.
Yes.
Along with whatever else they need.
Yeah.
So if they need to bring food and water and camp gear or whatever, they need to figure out how to fit all those things into one backpack.
Yeah,
and that is like the most important thing.
Because you don't want to be carrying a backpack of gear and a backpack of like camping and food and everything else. 'Cause that's just
too much stuff, and you just don't accomplish anything
Yeah.
because then you're fishing through stuff or convincing yourself not to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's a good.
Yeah, you really have to plan out what you the core of what you really need, and it's the same as with when you're going to shoot. You need the core of what you like. I need if we're climbing a mountain, I need at the bottom, a quarter of the way, a third of the way, anything exact like visually cool, and then the top.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like, let's not get anything else, because then I can tell that story super fast. Like if you had to edit it that day.
I feel you could cut out even some of that.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
But you know, you just need a few key moments, like the coolest view, the weirdest part, the scariest part, or something like.
You had asked me earlier something I would do different, and this is the thing I would definitely do different. Buy a really good zoom lens for your camera, because if you think you're going to swap primes, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Or you are going to,
and
you're going to miss important stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So like,
because you're swapping primes.
I mean, like just a 24 to 70 or like a 70 to 200.
No,
or
you
like,
do
what are
the
we
like the
looking at?
Panasonic 12 to 35.
Yeah, okay.
And then that covers you for like what normally is 24 to 75 if you're shooting micro four thirds.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on. What,
But that lens, because then it has really good IS in it too. That lens, that's the most impressive lens, small lens I've ever used.
Something along those lines that's fast and good would be great. I did shoot in a wet canyon one time, just with primes, for like the first half of the canyon, and then I'd be sitting in a river trying to change a lens while I'm soaking wet and water's pouring down, trying to not get the sensor wet.
Oh, geez.
And then I would just miss stuff, and eventually I just put that kit lens on, that zoom, and I just used it the rest of the way.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So yeah, get a good zoom.
It's almost like trying to get what you need to get, and don't worry about like the little bit better image quality the prime will give you. Focus on actually getting the shots you want to get, even if it's that way. You want the flexibility is what you want, essentially.
All right. Well, thanks for all the tips.
Yeah, so many pro tips, dropping bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess that's it. We had a bunch of other stuff we were going to talk to you about, but I'm going to do this again. Hopefully.
All right. I mean, if you're already inviting me on it as a guest, I mean, maybe your roster's running out. So I'm available if there are more episodes.
I don't even think we haven't really even gotten into it yet.
I like how self-deprecating you are.
You're pretty early in the running, you know?
Yeah, you are.
It's also because we're still working it out, so it's like we might be 5 minutes late. So we're like, let's do people that aren't going to yell at us.
Yeah. Let's do other people who are going to make a lot of mistakes.
And then we're asking you questions, so we learn from it, and then next week this will be better.
Yeah,
you know?
it's true.
All right, man.
Cool, man. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Another Nerd Out podcast. Hit stop on up there. At the top, up the top, up the top.